This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
Welcome to Elder Geeks Elder Speak. Today is Friday, March 23rd, 2012. I'm Randy Yasenchak, editor of ElderGeek.com. Happy Friday, everybody. You survived through the week, and we are now rewarded with a nice, sweet weekend. If unfortunately you're on the East Coast, kind of like I am, going to be a little bit of a rainy weekend, but at least it was kind of a pretty day today. Moving on, I'm actually not going to be doing any video game news today. It's been a little bit of a hectic day, and I'm going to be having a hectic weekend for sure, but today I wanted to go through some viewer email instead. Got a couple of pretty nice emails, and I wanted to share them with everybody, and also to hear what your thoughts are on these topics. First one is actually from Tim, Brit in Japan. I notice how you always mention retro games but never actually cover the Commodore Amiga or even Atari ST, which was a machine that led the market in the 80s and the early 90s. Games to look at, It Came from the Desert, some freaky RPG that managed to scare the freejesus out of me, Supercars 2, good fun car racing from above, Turrican 2, a decent Metroid/Aliens ripoff with great music from Chris Holbersek, musician recently known for working on Factor 5, and the game we mentioned recently, Lair, although I don't remember mentioning Lair recently. And then he actually gives a link for a top 100 game thingy on YouTube. Tim, thanks for the letter. The real reason why I don't bring up the Commodore, or the Commodore Amiga, I should say, or even the Atari ST that much. Well, first of all, in terms of retro gaming, I don't do a whole lot of retro gaming myself. I enjoy retro gaming from time to time, but I don't consider myself a retro gamer. I enjoyed them while I was growing up and playing them, and I still go back every once in a while to rehash some old favorites, but I don't sit down and play retro games ad nauseum. For the most part, I play newer releases, but for the show that we do, Game Club, we do either retro games or indie games. And we kind of actually have an odd balance with that show as well. We try our best to try to get the audience involved, and in order to get the audience involved, we need to either pick a retro game or an indie game that isn't too obscure that people aren't going to play it. Now, this is not me saying anything bad about the Commodore Amiga, because tons of people had them, but it's not a very popular retro machine today. It's more common for people to actually have their NESs or their Sega Master Systems or Genesises and SNESs or even Atari 2600s, but it's harder to find people that actually have working Amigas. And at the same time, it's even harder to get people to find like actual working arcade machines. So if I had a working Commodore Amiga in my possession, I probably would try to throw in a couple of episodes in it for Game Club. But beyond that, at Elder Geek, we don't do too many retro reviews. We'll do a retro review once in a while if it comes in the form of a retrospective, or if it's a really, really slow time of the year, like in the middle of the summertime when all you're seeing is E3 news, but there's no real games coming out. So sometimes we'll rehash an old favorite. But I guess that's really it. It's not out of a lack of love for it. It's just that in terms of the retroscape of video games, the Commodore Amiga has sadly taken a little bit of a backseat compared to the NES and Sega's systems. And that's really it. And yeah, it's kind of sad. If I was more of a retro gamer, if I made Elder Geek more of a channel about, or a website more about retro gaming, then you bet your bippy I'd be talking more about the Commodore and all the pretty sweet games that came out for it. Hell, even right now, I'm actually kind of holding back on all the games that I used to play on my family's old 286 when I was growing up, but I don't think anybody would remember them. I think I would be kind of, I don't know, speaking to myself almost. But thank you for the letter. I really appreciate it, and you know, thanks for sending it in. If anybody else has any emails or letters that they'd like to send in, you can send in emails or questions to info@elder-geek.com. This second letter is actually from Kevin. It's a two-part question, or a two-part email. Two questions. What is your computer setup/rig? That Shogun 2 footage was nice. My computer is a i7 3.4. I have an ATI Radeon HD 5850, and I use 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM. The video card is definitely getting a little bit outdated, and I'm starting to see it aging a bit, but I'm still able to get some great performance out of it. So I'm going to hold off on upgrading for a little while. I'm gonna hold off as long as I can. But if I do upgrade, I'll let everybody know, just to let everybody drool a bit. But I really think that the processor and the RAM are really what's kind of helping with the decent footage, and then also me being able to record it without losing any frame rate or anything like that. And that's always kind of an important thing on my end. I record a ton of footage. Those half-hour long clips of Shogun 2, they end up being just, I think probably per every 2 minutes of video, it's probably about 3 gigs worth of space. So, I don't know, do the math on that, I guess. Anyway, the point is, hundreds of gigs of space per any video that I do, and then I have to kind of wipe my hard drive when I'm done with making a video. Anyway, number 2, what feature/stuff would you like to see in the next Fallout game? I love Fallout 3 to death, but the Fallout New Vegas just doesn't click with me. I am actually wearing a Fallout New Vegas shirt right now, and I actually really liked Fallout New Vegas. Fallout 3 I really liked as well, but I like the two of them for different reasons. I liked Fallout New Vegas because I thought that it had a better, like a better storyline. I thought that there was a better branching effect of your actions within Fallout New Vegas. I liked Fallout 3 a whole lot because when the game came out, I was living in the DC area, and I loved comparing what the game was like and compared to what the actual game environment was like. And the pretty kind of cool part about it is where I was living at the time, pretty much right where Vault 101 was, or about there in Fallout 3 Vegas scale. I was in that rough area. And it's kind of funny that Springvale High School is not too, or what I assume they used for the inspiration for where Springvale High School is, that high school isn't too far from me, or wasn't too far from me anyway. There were other things that I kind of got a kick out of. There's of course no Georgetown Metro station, but there is one in New Vegas. The Metro map was actually kind of all off, but those metros themselves actually looked an awful lot like the actual metro system. But it was a lot of fun doing that kind of thing, like comparing and contrasting real life with the video game, and that was kind of neat. Another thing I kind of remember just now that I'm talking about it, when Fallout 3 was about to come out, their advertising campaign was showing a picture of destroyed Washington, D.C. And I remember actually seeing a picture of that. They ran an advertisement for it on the Metro at the time. And there was a group that just started pissing and whining about it. And they actually had that entire ad campaign pulled. So I kind of had to laugh about it because people were thinking that it was offensive somehow or something like that, and not realizing that it was for a science fiction video game, not based on our current future, but based on the future if shit had gone awry during the Cold War back in the 1950s, which clearly it didn't. Anyway, what would I like to see in the next Fallout game? I guess that's the question that I'm not answering here properly. I would really like to see them work more on their atmosphere in Fallout 4, or if it's Fallout Online. I think that's the one thing that kind of, despite the fact that I really liked Fallout 3's environment, that the fact that it was the DC wasteland, etc., etc., I liked that. It was kind of neat. It wasn't as immersive as I was hoping it to be. And Fallout New Vegas's environment was entirely too bland. I realize it's the desert and everything like that, but the desert's boring, you know. I think it would be interesting if they had kind of a mix of hills and also some trees. You know, a scary forest or two would be kind of nice. Mix in some various locations kind of thing. I would also like to see a larger map as well. Red Dead Redemption's map kind of comes to mind, where you have a desert, but the environment is actually still varied, and it's all actually pretty interesting to kind of explore. So if you compare Red Dead Redemption's desert compared to like Fallout 3's desert, I don't know, Red Dead is clearly the more varied and I think better thought out one. So I guess that's what I would want to see. I want to see them do a better environment for the next Fallout game. Otherwise, I'm cool with pretty much everything they did in Fallout New Vegas. I really, really loved it to death. More DLC. The DLC for that was fantastic. Topics for discussion he actually brings up, and I think these are cool. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I recently tried Killzone 3 multiplayer for it being free until reaching level 10, and I noticed the gears you started with are bare minimum. Things like having no secondary weapon, which was bullshit. When Killzone 2 started, you start out with proper guns, and games like Battlefield 3 strip everything down to nothing, especially in the vehicle perks. Unlockable for smokescreen, machine guns on tanks, flares, air to missile. It's a joke on these things to not have in the first place. Developers do this for the sense of progression, and I like the statement DICE made, something like to unlock everything, it's going to take forever. Well, no shit. Destroy 5 vehicles, so you can unlock the steering wheel, etc., etc. My thoughts on that, I like the sense of progression. I like the unlock system, but I agree with you that this year, or I guess the past 2 years, the games that have been coming out with perk systems, I feel like they've been making it too hard for brand new players to come into it. Because you're right, they strip you down of absolutely everything. I still want there to be a ton of things to unlock, but I think probably a happy medium would be, if they strip you down of everything, I think that they should give you a choice of, say, 3 perks that you automatically unlock. So you could look at all the unlocks that the game has to offer in like, say, 4 different tiers of unlocks. They should give you 3 unlocks to unlock for yourself, so you can at least customize your experience going in. All these games you know that you're going to be playing as, they basically boil it down to assault, support, sniper, or in the case of Battlefield, anti-tank or anti-vehicle. So you know before you even play those games what class you're primarily going to play. I play a lot as engineer in Battlefield just because my aim sucks, so it's a lot easier for me to hit the broadside of a tank than it is for me to hit, somebody in the head with a sniper round. So if I were starting off Battlefield 3, I would love to be able to pick off 3 perks that would be for the engineer class that would help me at least get into the game a little bit faster. I would still have a ton of things to unlock, and I wouldn't feel so underpowered when it came to playing up against people who have been playing the game for weeks and months, or even a year at some point, who just have almost everything unlocked and are just killing me based on their gear alone. I think that would even the odds a little bit, but it would also still make it really interesting as well, because then you can, when you get bored of playing with your engineer class or sniper class or whatever you want to start off as, you can venture out and see how the other half lives, so to speak. So unlock sniper rifles and unlock pistols and unlock different med kits and stuff like that. I think that'd probably be the better way to go. As far as the vehicles, though, yeah, I think they do need to put some basic stuff back into it. So put the basic machine gun back into the tank. But if you unlock something, let you unlock something awesome, like a quicker reloading machine gun, or a 50 caliber as opposed to like a 30 caliber machine gun or something like that, or I don't know. You get my point. They are dumbing it down a little bit too much. The iron sights on the absolutely worst gun makes it a little bit too hard for you to fight through everything. But that's it for today. Thanks everybody for listening. I really don't have anything else to kind of go through. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Again, if anybody has any questions or any comments, or if they want to send an email to be seen on the show, you can send it to info@elder-geek.com. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be giving away those Wizorb copies. So if you haven't gotten in your entry for Wizorb yet, you can still do so. Just head on over to our Facebook page and you can check that out. But in the meantime, I will talk to everybody on Monday, where hopefully I'll be having a nice fresh batch of news for you all. One more quick thing before I actually go. Yes, we are actually working on a Fall of the Samurai video review. Patrick is actually working on that one. As soon as he gets me a script, I'm going to do the audio and then send it back to him. Mats is currently working on a pretty cool video feature that probably will be done by the end of the weekend, so look forward to that next week. And I currently am kind of juggling 2, 3, even 4 different games to do for video reviews. So they'll get done when they get done. But at least there's some videos that are coming down the pipeline. Thanks again, everybody. Take care. Have a good weekend.